Good evening, folks. It's Kiki. No good do gooder with the NO and the KNO. Or you can call me Puda. What's up, y'all? I wanted to talk about LOVE, love. Alright? Earlier I was getting out a whole lot of frustration. Cause shit was like I ain't gonna say necessarily like getting on my nerves, so to speak. But it was more like you know, people be celebrating shit thinking that they defeated something when in reality you've defeated nothing. Like you defeated yourself into karma, you know. And I mean, I know everybody was trying to get me to believe in like, oh, I'm cursed, I'm so cursed, you know, and giving me all your towers by orchestrating everything to get me feeling some kind of way. And it's like you realize this is something that you've done to get something that you want to go in your favor. Okay. So, if you did it, it's yours. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody else's. It's just yours. You know? But the love I want to talk about is the love that transcends like space and time. Okay? And you might not look at me as a being that transcends space and time. That's cool. Don't even look at the vessel. Pretend I'm an energy anyway, but just pretend I'm like, I don't know, a thunderbolt or some shit of energy. Okay? And my energy knows that you won't love me if I punish you. Okay? And you're only looking at what I'm doing as a form of punishment because you're not getting what you want. But you're not looking at what you did to get punished in the first place. And so, just like a child, when a child has not listened to reason, you know, understanding, and just an adult, and they go on their way to do whatever they want to do, to establish what they want to establish, they're doing it in impulsive, childish manner. Even as an adult, you're still doing it in an impulsive, childish manner. Okay? And when you keep doing that, of course it's some form of repetition. But it's so negative. But you're programming yourself, and you're programming yourself on a road of negativity. Okay? And you've done this so much that it's impossible even for me to get you out of your role, continuous effort of negativity. Okay? Because that's the will that you turn forward. That's the will that you decide to be on. That's the will that you decide to create. Okay? And so even though I'm an infinite being of energy, right? And you get other beings, right? And you say, hey, let's deplete this infinite. And if it's really infinite, it won't ever be depleted. It won't ever stop. Okay? There's the truth in that. But the deeper truth is this. Love exists on all planes. So even though if I have to punish you, that's a form of love. For you to stop really hurting yourself. Because you're in negative repetition against another that isn't hurting you. But when you look at me as an infinite source, okay, and you say, oh, her infrastructure doesn't seem to have an end. But God loves me, and God has an end to your fuck shit, which is the repeated repetition against myself. Okay? And since you're not coming to your senses on your own, you're not coming to your senses even when I'm talking, and you're not coming to your senses when your ancestors or your gods or your angels are talking to you. So God will just do it. Separate. Okay? She deserves to live. They deserve to keep going on their spiral. Because who stops your spiral? You. Okay? When we ask to be born, when we ask to have a vehicle, when we ask to have choices and free will and things like that, yes, you can create. And you can create negative worlds or positive worlds. Okay? But no matter if you created that day 100 negative worlds, you're going to still have, if it was 100 negative worlds, then you got 100 negative worlds times those bad choices times those bad actions on a constant time of timing, like a loop times 10, like, because even in your sleep it's still going on that negative roll, because that's the mindset of your brain. Okay, so there's a limit to the fuck shit. Said that plenty of times. No one seems to want to listen to that, and that's none of my business. It's like, okay, cool, you don't want to listen, you ain't got to, you know. You don't want to take heed, it's cool, it's fine, you know. You don't you want to pretend like, you know, you don't understand. Shit. Okay. Who you hurting though doing that? It's like who? Yourself. Nobody else. Yourself. Okay? Alright. So, my love for you is, hey, there's no more spanking on the hand. There's no more saying, oh, it's okay. No more saying like, man, I just pray about it and hope they get it together. No, it's action. All action. And the action has to be where the magic is closed off to you. Where karma is sent your way. And for you to learn your lessons. And for you not to damage good people. You know. Because that's who you're putting your lessons on. You know, instead of you learning them. And if anyone or everyone hasn't figured out yet, education gets you out of that barbaric state of mind, animalistic mindset of the kill or be killed, or the contest, the competition. You know, the lack of. It's like they want people, things, places, and situations to be in lack, so other people, places, and things can flourish. Okay, under the old paradigm. But everything, every place, every being has the right to flourish. Because there wasn't a limitation put on any being until limitations were created. The limitations that were created, all the words in lack, are limitations. And if you are forging lack, if you are setting up an army to produce lack and place it on folks, you are an agent of chaos. You are an agent against God. You are an agent against humanity. You are an agent against living. Okay? Because if you think in order for you to have a house, that you have to take my house, Come again? Okay. And then if your mindset is, oh, I got the big house and she got the small house, and then the boo boo, it's like, come again. Because all you did, like I said so many times, you taking the slave master, 2 words, narrative, kept it going. Didn't stop it. You just hid it. Never stopped it. And when you have something that never stops, even if it's done covertly, it will always still have a stopping point, because God has limits on all forms of negativity. God does not have limits on creativity. Positive nature, though, to move the world forward. Not creativity to move people backwards. And I keep saying this, but it's like I'm becoming verbal with it all, because, sometimes my stories are so long, people don't want to read them. And it's cool. But God doesn't go backwards. And He's not interested in going backwards in any form of time. And she's not interested in going back to the past to correct the future. If they have to do that, which that's essentially what they're doing now, by actually assisting me after I have woken up and gotten out of the matrix. Okay? They're angry. They're upset. They're flabbergasted at the asinine shit that people are still doing in the hopes of more power. And because the world looks the same to you, which it will when you're in a lax state of mind, nothing changes. You look at your outside, it's the same. A lot of things have color, but in your mind, it's a black and white. Okay? And it's not a balance or evil or even fun times in your black and white. No. No. It's that no growth. That militant. That it is what it is. Deal with it. And if we eat every day at 6 o'clock, that's what it is. If you don't want to eat with us at 6 o'clock, then, you're not going to eat today. It's things like that. It's things about how you want to move science forward, and you want to move technology forward, but you do not want to move the Bible forward. You do not want to move spirituality forward. And you do not want to really move people forward. Because those things would have advanced also. The rest of the world, how it keeps its edge of being ahead is by not moving those 3 things forward. And you don't move it forward with force, like brute force, because that's how men think. You move it forward with mental force. Mostly women think that way. Even when a man goes into mental force, it still turns into physical force. It's harder for them to understand control, because they look at the lack end of control. I know I'm out of control and I want to control something else. That's what keeps me controlled. versus saying, as a woman would say, release control of others, learn to control myself, and then everything else starts to control with a flow, not with a force. Big difference. But when you're growing in knowledge, and again, this is knowledge that they don't teach you in school. Now, if you are a scientist, a chemist, a doctor, a lawyer, um, any form of technology or spirituality or uh, uh, biblical scholar, okay, and you thought that you've learned everything, and you're like, hey, no one's gonna get past me. No one knows more than what I know, and I've done this already, and I've been here, okay, and this is my position, and so I'm gonna knock everyone down that goes for any of my shit. God's talking to you the most, because you just reintroduced lack into your life. Okay? You looked at your pinnacle of existence as the highest form of existence. And if babies are born every 4 to 6 seconds, you are not the highest form of existence anymore. Somebody else is entertaining something, understanding something, educated on something that's higher than your thought process. Because your thought process has stopped at what is your pinnacle, not someone else's. Because there are other people out there that say, I know it's something beyond this or beyond that. And the ones that know that and they are not trying to hurt somebody else to get it and establish that, they're the ones that's going to be ahead of the ones that hurt the others. Because the game of life is you are supposed to grow here and here. Because those are the two things in the Bible that says what's fucked up about us. And you're supposed to go up your spine, Jacob's ladder, learn openness. Not your legs, not your stance, you know what I'm saying? Or not flex whatever you think is control against somebody else. It's like, where? And I keep saying that because I am the highest ranked in the spirit. I still know somebody's over me, though. I know that. I don't disrespect who's over me, though. But I know it's not a human here. I understand that. I know to respect spirit, hell, heaven, earth, a being, an animal, or a light force, or a dark force. I understand that. I don't approach any situation as like, in your eyes it might be disrespectful, but if I'm willing to learn about you, understand you, to learn, I ain't gonna disrespect you. It only looks like a form of disrespect is when I'm trying to go above what you are talking about, and you feel some kind of way about it, or passing where you are, you feel some kind of way about it, or just knowing that person was already smarter than you, is already smarter than you, and will stay smarter than you, and you're mad. Lack in your mentality. Instead of saying, man, I don't know what she's learned, but she put some shit out there to make me want to learn some shit, I'm about to get to learning. The more you learn something, the more it clicks into your brain, it elevates your brain. The more you choose not to learn something, the more you choose to keep repeating the same shit, it keeps putting you lower. That's why you can't even tell that the earth is changing. That's why you can't even tell. The time has changed. That's why you keep wanting to just, you want to take Jesus, okay? And you want to be that fisher man of Jesus. And you want to be the line, okay, that Jesus cast, okay, or the net that he cast out to gather them fish. And you're not necessarily capturing them to eat them because you're hungry. You're capturing them because you want the control. And you want to devour what they call a free soul. All those fish in the lake, the sea, the ocean, free. Free. And you think because in your mind you're somewhat of a form of a Jesus that you can just cast your shit and snatch that shit up, and you just got it just because. You ain't even got it to liberate. You ain't even got it to delegate. You ain't even got it to distribute. You're just holding on to it because you figured like this. My power is my power, and I captured other power from other motherfuckers, and that's mine too. And nah, I ain't even giving other motherfuckers their power back. I'm gonna keep it. I deserve it. And God is saying the same thing. Where? How you deserve something? Because when you deserve something, that means you did something like deserving, worthy to get it. Stealing isn't deserving, worthy. So it's like the practical approach to life. You highfalutin fuckers are missing because you are way up on your highfalutin ass, and that's what you want people to do. Just put a gerbil right on up there and travel that bitch like that. And I'm saying, no. No, I ain't gonna do it. Mm-mm. I'm not sticking my fist up that shit. Nope. Mm-mm. So, it's one of those things where if you didn't want God to kind of like take you off your high horse, you wouldn't do shit to get taken off your high horse. You know? Like if God tell me to do something, I told y'all one time, only one time, where I hesitated. You know? And I heard the fear. Not fear like, oh God, that's not the word. It's kind of like, it's really like I felt the fear in me. I heard the disgust and disappointment and dissatisfaction and anger, frustration in God that one time. And I knew I could not take one more step in that energy. And as I was thinking it, which was in seconds, God said it. He said, that you feel, it's fear. Remove it. And instantly, what came to my mind, begin the time. And I saw the stars. And I saw the pitch black. And as I'm a piece of light going through it, I said, damn. Fear had to be created. Because the beginning of time was only black and white. Stars in space. You know? So either the beginning of time was real happy or real chaotic. But in order for chaos to be produced, fear had to exist at the beginning. And it didn't. It didn't. You know why it didn't? Because wherever God placed us, we didn't even realize that we were naked. Get it? So, when you walking through anywhere, in the Bible it's a garden, and you naked in the motherfucker, you ain't scared. You ain't scared at all. You know, you don't care if your breast up here or down there, belly hanging. You know, you got a flat booty or big booty. You don't care. You just, hey, how you doing? How's life? What's going on? How's work today? Not even thinking about you got your little manhood just dangling, going through life. No fear. It wasn't there. It was created. Every area of fear was created. It was either created by something that someone did not do and something happened to them, or something someone did and it still was something that happened to them. Okay? If I stub my toe, it bleeds and I don't take care of the bleeding and I keep stubbing my toe, something's eventually going to happen to my toe. And something could eventually happen to where it could scare me to where I would never want to stomp my toe again. And anyone that seems like they want to even stomp on my toe or put my toe in any danger, I don't even want to be bothered. That's a form of fear. And then, if someone is inflicting the fear, okay, they might know I stomped my toe. And they want to be slick and they say, hey, Kiki, how you doing? What's going on with you and everything? And I'm like, my naked ass is just fine. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. Da, da, da. Then they just stomp on that bitch. And I'm like, ow, motherfucker, what the fuck did you do that for? They're like, oh, I don't know. You know, I thought something was on your toe. And I'm like, bitch, it is something on my toe. I stomped it. And then they gonna lie and be like, oh, I thought that was a bug or something. I ain't know I was really stomping on your toe. Yes, they did. You got 5 motherfucking toes. Just things like that. Fear is done in like these sneaky ways because it wants you to regret something. You know what I'm saying? It wants you to be put in anguish about something. It wants you to fear wherever it is that you're going. Okay? And I'm like this. Well, just because people want me in that, that does not mean that I have to be in that. And that does not mean if I was in it, I got to stay in it. And then I look at it like I never was in it, because even when people were like masterminding behind closed doors, like, I got her in the house. She's not going anywhere. And I'm going to inflict my pain. And I'm going to stir up these different pots of magic. I think as soon as I got up out of the spot and went to the bathroom and took a bath and then got on some clothes and got my keys to my car and I left and went somewhere, yeah, I think that myth is out of there. You know what I'm saying? Okay? And then the other part of all the magic that you do is to hurt the body and hurt the mind and hurt the heart. So you can be hurt in all of those areas to the point where, you see, not many tears come out of my eyes. That nothing actually surprises or shocks me anymore. Or that it's like, oh, yeah, I knew such was going to do that. This has been done before, you know? And people get pissed, okay, that you reduce them to a cliche, you know? And it's like, well, don't do cliche shit. And the fucked up thing is this. And all this is love related, because everyone that's doing this has no love for themselves. And they're mad at you because you have love for yourself. Because you are healing your wounds. outside and inside. You are healing your heart. You are healing your mind. You are healing your stumped toe. And you're healing from the people that stumped on your toe too. And they're like, what the fuck? You know? And you know why you need to heal? So nothing can affect you. And all 12 of your houses are your vessel. Nothing. Nothing that they could do or say that will get you out of the continuation of healing. Because you'll know when an area is healed. Okay? Anyone that's affecting that area in your life, they know when you're healing because they start to experience all kinds of fuck shit that they knew was supposed to come to them. You know, so they get worried and panic when the shit ain't coming towards you. But this is why other things are important. Like, you know, spiritually it says you can't affect someone more than basically like 12 years. You know why? It's 12 chakras. You know, it's 12 months. It's 12 zodiacs. Like that. It's 12 houses in your body. And they got, you know, about 5 to 10 different shits in that one house. Okay? So, when they can't go beyond that, they want to force it. Okay? But anything is forced. So if you ran for 12 years from your karma, you get 3 times that. That's 36. But you know, you force it, you get 3 times the 36. What's that? 100 or something? The more you force, the more, because you're doing like resistance. You're making sure you're someone's defense. Okay? And they're not even offense. Like, they're just themselves. But you know what becomes their offense? The universe. And it'll keep pulling you back to where the fuck you supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? So when you take 2 steps forward and you end up, you wonder why you 10 steps back? That's why. And most of the time it's from somebody that you done let in your life that has already done some backwards ass shit so many fucking times that they know they can't kick it forward. They can't push it forward and they can't become forward without, like, maybe what you would say, the giving of themselves. Okay? Like, because people are weird. They don't want to give themselves, you know, fully to anyone or anything. And that's where you're missing out. You know, like, y'all want me to give myself to all of you. And so you thought, all right, well, since she didn't do that she's just going to break. And then she's going to come back with her tail between her legs and she's going to be crawling towards us. No, I gave myself to God. I gave myself to the ancestors. I gave myself to the angels. Okay? Not the other way around. You know, because I know that there's a higher force over whomever you are. And if you're doing spiritual shit to me, yeah, I need to call on God. You doing 3D shit to me and I don't really know everybody? Yeah, I need to call on God. And when you trying to affect every area of my life, yeah, I need to call on God because it needs to be fixed internally within the universal system and externally within the system on earth that is allowing this to keep happening. and internally in me and externally away from me. Because I am not you people. And you people are not me. Okay? Now, the real love comes in like this. My nemesis could be looked at in two ways. Alright? I know my partner that I haven't met, okay, submitted himself to a fucking like demonic ass, dark ass witch. Okay? But this man submits himself to find me, to awaken me. Okay? That's a form of love. Alright? That's a big thing. Alright? Fucked up part is, I awaken. And the bitch that he had to use to do it didn't really believe. Didn't really think that I was going to awake. And was trying to prevent the awakening. And then when you couldn't prevent the awakening in me, you decided to prevent the awakening in the person that was trying to find me. Okay? And this could have been a lot of men on my timeline that wanted to find me. Okay? But at the same time, I realized that this wench found them to corrupt them against me. Wanted to make me seem like a leviathan or the abyss of this horrible person. When in actuality, they were always dealing with this horrible person. Not understanding because that person wore a mask that they were dealing with something worse than the devil. Okay? The reason why love always wins, because when you go through all the different pits of hell, and you go through heaven, and then you go down to the abyss to even find who you love and want, and you're able to still keep yourself, find yourself, and find that other person, and you come out of that abyss, okay? And you learn about yourself, and you learn about other people, you learn about the world, you learn about hell, you learn about heaven. It's really fucked up when people still don't want to congratulate you or salute you or welcome you back in, like to the other side of life. That's good. But they rather punish you because it's like now you've done something that they've never done. And they're actually pissed that you made it. You know. Because the way they design things is not for you to make it. You know. So when you do, they don't know how to really salute you. You know. And it's one of those things where you've used mental instability to mess with people. Yes. I was doing a video. Hey, you made it home.
Yeah, I talk later.
Okay, Ma. Well, you've like used mental instability to mess with people. And when people make it out of the mental instability to stability, you're going to realize you dug that hole for yourself, because in order to create mental instability in someone, you have to go through that creation yourself, because it is a plan. It is a procedure. It is a process. It is a ritual. It is a spell. It is all of these things. So it's like, in order for you to step into a person's energy, you know, you already embody like the parts of the energy you want to give off um, to that other person. But you don't look at it like that. And it's harder to conjure up, that messed up energy than it is to learn or to cleanse your own energy, or to learn to control yourself. Self-preservation is the key. And you're not preserving yourself when you are using up all your energy to formulate something and then throw it as a burst at someone else, hoping that they're going to absorb it, take it, catch it, and fester in it. Because that's how you're getting the energy back. It's like, it's a transference, but you want it to continue like it's a match, like it's tennis. No. A smart person would be like, we fought at one point, now you're going to fight yourself. If you want to be in a constant battle with you, that's on you. And there's no more like not reflecting on your life, your situations and things. It's a must, because people's minds are broken. And not in a good way. Because they focus on torturing to bring something out of people. And you don't even have to do that. Like, there are other ways to do things, And then when you got unhealed people around you, and you can tell if they are, because they'll make you uncomfortable in your own skin, And they'll think it's cool to make you uncomfortable in your own skin. And you'll be the only person that's like, well, why would you, think to do this? Or why would you want to, hurt me like this to do something? But, I have a different perspective on, love and caring and being a part of something with someone. And it's not like everyone else's. Everyone else's is, we're the slaves and we have a master. And I choose to honor, the slave in me as the master. And I want you to understand what that means to me. Okay? It means this. I read something where there's a slave born of a master, white man, and born of a black slave woman. But he looked white. He got teased, picked on, outcasted, humiliated, beaten, whipped. Resilience on 1,000, on 10,000. He was educated by his dad because his dad didn't necessarily treat him like a slave child. He treated him just like his child. And he helped his brothers and sisters in the plantation with love, respect, education, help. And then there are some that just couldn't. They hated the fact that he was like so resilient. And sometimes they would even get him set up to get whoopings or beatings and whipped and chained. But it wasn't by his dad as a slave master, because his dad passed away. Now, when his dad was a slave master, the plantation, everybody was thriving at the plantation because it didn't necessarily feel like a plantation, but you know, the hierarchy structure was there, but no one was um, taking a controlling stance in a negative way. You know, negative things were done. Okay, it was better than most plantations. When the dad died, um, the white mom and the kids moved somewhere else. Him, all his different brothers and sisters, they were together for a little bit. New slave master saw how tight knit everybody was, how cool everybody was, how things just flowed so nicely, and they wanted to interrupt that. And they saw the glue that was holding everything together with this man. This mixture of master and slave holding it together. So they would always make a spectacle of him. They would always put him on the chopping block, and they would whoop him and they would beat him. And he didn't care. It didn't stop him from educating his fellow brothers and sisters. So what they did, they took his mom, his brothers and sisters, and they put them on different plantations, sold them off. And he would leave. He would run away. And he would find them. He would always make sure they were all right. Didn't need anything. He made ways out of no way through all the woods, through different states, through a lot. And he would get beaten and sent back. I read that he did this from Virginia to South Carolina, Florida. Gosh, and I think Texas too. And he eventually made it to like New York, New Jersey area. He had ran away so many times. He had bought his freedom like 2 or 3 times. He had made sure that like his folks were he would always find them. He always knew which ones were his brothers and sisters, no matter where he went, you know. And it'd be like a code word, and they all looked alike. So he knew, and he would gather them up and get them together. Eventually, he paid for his freedom twice. He lost it twice. Third time, his friend, who was old, like parents were like slaves, like slave owners. Well, he wasn't like that in the North, but he kept a extra copy of his papers just in case if he ran into any trouble, because the South tried to come and take his ass back to the South, and the North was like, nah, nigga been free long time. Like, nah, he good. He was writing. He had a family of his own. He had rescued his mama and his brothers and sisters and kept them close. Wife and kids kept them close. And he wanted to write about his experiences. I love the fact that he could tell who his brothers and sisters were. I love the fact that he could understand the difference in a slave, the difference in a master, the difference in compassion, the difference in love, and the difference in like just being free. And he never let nothing stop him from getting the freedom he felt he deserved. And he made sure he gave his wife that. And he married a black woman. Okay? He didn't get into going out of his race. All right? Even though he worked amongst others too. It didn't matter to him. It was like the structure mattered. The love mattered. The care mattered. The togetherness mattered. His love had a GPS compass that was attached to family. It was attached to something that you couldn't see with the naked eye. It was attached to something that was worthy of like praise, admiration, consistency, and just recognition. You know? And I would get emotional every time I think about it, read about it. I don't remember which slave narrative it was because I was so emotional at the time, about 8 years ago, that I couldn't stop crying. But it was so much love I felt, and I felt so connected. And I said, damn, I want a man like that. I want a man that will look for me throughout time, throughout adversity, throughout space, throughout slavery, throughout being enslaved. And guess what? I didn't even know I was enslaved at the time. Them invisible shackles, I thought I was free, and I wasn't. But I knew, I said, man, I don't know if I'm the mama, the sister, or the wife. It don't matter. But I would love to have a man like that. And I would be proud if he was my brother or my dad or my husband. It was like I would want to talk about who he is. I would want to be attached to him. Like I would want to love that within him. Because you can't get a better example of, damn, something true, something genuine, something to me out of this world. And I knew when I was reading it, a higher power was working through him. Because all the beatings, all the talks, all the times he escaped, all the clever things he did, I'm like, yo, this man gotta get all the reciprocity in the world and all the love from any era in time. He never forgot. He never stopped anything. Like he kept loving. And it resonated so much with me. I didn't even know I was ISIS then. I didn't even know anyone was looking for me then. Just like I didn't even know I was a slave. And I didn't even know I was controlled then. Then it started to make sense to me real quick when I read that, why it resonated so much, and why it touched me so much, and why it still stays with me so much. Because I felt myself within those pages of his words. That I know if I decided to read some narratives today and I come across his story, I would know exactly who it is. But I said, slave love got to be the best love in the world. It's kind of like, who wouldn't want like a Harriet Tubman kind of mama or aunt or cousin or sister? Like, there's certain shit where it's like, yo, you want people to be able to come and find you and get you without like these extra shits with technology. They just, it's inside them. And that's what we're missing. That's what we've lost. That's what we let go of. And that's what is so hard for people to get back. And I know if you get like a glimpse or a shimmer of that back, the world will be an awesome place, okay? That's love. That's all I'm saying. Later, folks.